You know the defendant. You had a birthday party. You say he broke your door, the door to your house. Tell me about it.
I had a birthday party, a dual fiesta party. It was.
What is that? What's a dual fiesta party?
Meaning two people threw it. My friend and I threw it.
For yourselves?
Yes, for ourselves. It wasn't just a regular party. We rented a tent. We had a band. We had an open bar, food. Chris was one of the guests. He came. He brought his brother Matt, which is the witness, and his younger brother, and his younger brother's friend. The whole party went on throughout the night. I guess one of the younger brother's friends got in a fight with another person at the party. Matt ended up coming over to break up the fight. Matt ended up getting knocked out. Chris came running over, saw Matt knocked out, turned to me and said, "Call 911." And I looked over at Matt. I did not see him in the shape of 911 emergency. And I said,
What do
no.
you mean you didn't see him in the shape of 911 emergency?
He was getting up. He was standing up.
But he had been knocked to the ground.
I believe so.
What do you mean you believe so? If he was getting up, he had to be on the ground.
Well, yeah, he was getting up off the ground.
Right. So his brother came over and said, "Call 911."
Mm-hmm.
Because someone had just assaulted his younger brother.
Yes.
And what did you do?
I said, "Why don't you take him to the hospital that's about a mile down the street?" Chris ignored me, went over to my front door, kicked down my front door, went in, called 911, came back out, grabbed his brother's friends, whom, by the way, were underage, the people that he brought to the party, and was allowing them to drink.
No, you were allowing them to drink. If it was
Well, I
in your
didn't know
house.
who they were. Chris brought them. They were actually uninvited guests.
Then you should have told them to leave.
I didn't know. There was a lot of people at the party. Chris ended up leaving the party before 911 had got there. 911 arrived. I had to explain to 911 why there was no victim on the scene. They were telling me they were going to charge me and they would let it go this time. Chris came over the next day with Matt to pick up a friend of theirs that spent the night and still had not gone to the hospital. Matt was saying, "Oh, you know, I'm hurt and all this stuff." It still had not gone to the hospital. So to go on with the story, so then I said to Chris agreed, you know, that he kicked down the door and that he would fix it.
Why was the door locked?
Because we had people going around to the side door because we had carpeting. We had people going through where there was linoleum.
Okay,
So,
even if
and
they had to use any of the parts of the house, like the bathroom, they went go around the side of the house.
We had signs saying bathroom this way.
So, is how she related the story pretty much the way it happened?
Well, it's colorful, but it's highly inaccurate.
I'm here to listen.
Boy, I don't know where to begin. I saw my
Don't
brother...
begin at the flood. Just begin at the time you saw your brother assaulted.
I saw my brother assaulted out of the corner of my eye, and he was hit in the head with the gentleman's fist, and then kicked in the head.
You mean when he was down?
When he was down, he was kicked in the head. In fact, he had a CAT scan. I mean, he was unconscious for what I considered a long period of time.
Even a minute is a lot.
I ran over to him. Miss LaBeouf, like she said, was there. I did ask her to call 911. She said, "Just give him a minute, he'll be fine." And he was unconscious, completely unconscious. I asked her again to call 911. She would do nothing, so I ran to the front door, which was the closest door to where the incident took place, and it was locked. And I kicked the door in, and I dialed 911. And I have a police report here that documents exactly what I did.
Why didn't you wait for the police, sir?
When I came back to my brother, Missy was still there. He slowly regained consciousness, and I asked him. I said, "Matt, what can I do for you?" I mean, I've never been so scared in my life. I mean, and he said, "Just get me out of here. Just get me out of here." We didn't know who this guy was. We'd never met him. We'd never even seen him. We didn't know if he had 10 friends there.
You're Matt.
Yes.
Step up, sir. How did this incident begin?
Well, after I was assaulted, I really, don't have much recollection of what happened. But okay,
before.
I was talking to one of my friends who was also a guest at the party, and like Missy said, there had been an altercation earlier in the night with this young man that was at the party, and I remember that they had exchanged words, and there was a fight ready to be broken out. So I turned around, actually like this, because I was talking to another young lady, and I said, excuse me, and I said, you know what, we don't want to fight. I said, we're here for a birthday party. No one wants to fight, you know. I turned my head, and the next thing I knew it, he hit me right in the head. I fell to the ground, shaking like this. I tried to get up like this, and I turned my head, and he booted me right in the face, and out I went. And after that, that's really what happened.
Since February 28th, there's been a Class 1 felony assault with a deadly weapon out for this gentleman's arrest.
What they're forgetting to tell you also is Chris was allegedly trying to blackmail me to find out this person's name for him, or else he said he wouldn't fix my door.
It would seem to me that since this incident occurred in your home and one of your invited guests was assaulted, you would want to be as cooperative as possible and find out the name of the person.
Yeah.
Why did it require this kind of blackmail in order to get you to get out there and get this name for them?
It didn't require anything. They were making a mountain out of a molehill out of this whole situation.
That's not a mountain out of a molehill, madam.
He could have been killed.
I want to explain something to you. If somebody had come up to you, just you, at your birthday party, punched you in the face, and then kicked you in the head, I guarantee you wouldn't be standing there saying to me, he's making a mountain out of a molehill.
Your Honor,
Shut!
Oh, I'm sorry.
Listen, when it looks as if you're winning, you're supposed to shut up. Miss LaBeouf, I have a couple of questions for you. My sense is that I'm not getting a full story from you with regard to his condition at the time he asked you to call 911. Because common sense would tell me that you were having a birthday party, and the prospect of having the police arrive because of an emergency was not something that you relished. So I doubt whether he was as in good shape as you suggest he was when this young man asked you to call 911.
No, that had nothing to do with it. The party, it was 2:30 already. The party had been going all night long. I cared more about my friend. I've known Matt since 8th grade. I went to homecoming with him my freshman year.
So why didn't you just go inside and call 911?
I would have, but Chris was completely irate and drunk and overreacting. If Chris said, Missy, go in and call 911.
He said that he was punched in the face and kicked in the head, and he has no recollection of anything after that.
Then why did Matt go to the hospital that night is what I want to know.
When did you go to the hospital, sir?
I went to the hospital the next morning, right after I left Missy's house. First I went to the hospital, and then I went over to the sheriff's station, and I filed a report. And my doctor, an urgent care in Glendale, said that I was very, very lucky to be alive.
Don't tell me what your doctor said.
I'm just...
But that's when you went to the doctor
Yes, Your
the next
Honor.
day. Ms. LaBeouf, don't you believe you have any responsibility towards his injuries?
No, because I don't feel that I started the fight.
The fight, it took place in your home. Took place in your home.
You know who started the fight? The minors that they brought to the party.
When you have a party in your home, you almost act as an insurer for the guests. You understand that?
Yes.
Well, you know, I assume that you haven't sued Miss LaBeouf for the injuries that you
Not
sustained.
yet, Your Honor.
Well, how do you feel about this door?
You know, as Missy said, initially I felt badly about the door. We have been friends for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Then, as I had time to think about it, I thought, why am I fixing this door? I did what I would have done the same for you or her or anyone else. And if it had been Missy who had been laying in the bushes and I'd kicked the front door in to call 911, there's no way she would have sued me. If I'd been at someone else's house, and I had no choice to do it, and if I had it to do over again, I'd do it 100 times. I'd kick 10 doors in. That's what I had to do. Ethically and morally, if not legally, I felt I was obligated to do it. And if that's wrong, I don't want to be right.
This young man is going to have a coronary unless he comes up and tells me what he has to say. I see him out of the corner of my eye. I assume you have something germane to say to me, sir. Do you?
Sure.
Sure. You better be.
Well,
Your name first.
my name's Ed.
Ed what?
Witness. Ed Marchand. After Matt was assaulted, he was laying on the ground and he was attempting to get up. And Chris, being an older brother, was concerned, and rightfully so. And I was right there with him when he called 911. I was going to go and assist him to do that. I almost went to grab him, and I almost was struck in the face when he went to kick the door with the back of his foot. It was right there, and I couldn't believe that he actually managed to kick the door down in one kick.
Did you witness this assault, sir?
I didn't actually see him getting struck in the head, but I was less than 10, 15 feet away.
But you saw him on the ground.
I saw him on the ground.
And you saw his brother upset.
Yes.
And you heard his brother, defendant, ask Miss LaBeouf to call 911.
Yes.
And she did not go.
She did not go. I offered to
She did not go.
She did not go.
He was standing with his brother.
Mm-hmm.
And he asked the host